My husband asked for a paternity test. It came back positive, but our relationship was never the same. My husband and I have 3 children. Our sons look exactly like him. Dark skin and dark eyes and hair. But our daughter doesn't. She looks exactly like my great-grandparents. Really pale, blonde, and green-eyed. But apparently he didn't think it was possible that our daughter could look like my great-grandparents. And from the moment he saw her, he told me he wanted a paternity test. At first, I refused because I felt it was humiliating and because I didn't think it was necessary because I never cheated on him and I hoped he would trust me, but he didn't. And for the first 2 months of our daughter's life, he made my life hell. He didn't want to hold her, even if she cried desperately while I was doing something else. He never woke up at night to help me with her. He never helped me with anything. And that hurt me so much because with our boys, he was completely different. He helped me all the time with absolutely everything, and he was always there for me after giving birth. But this time he left me alone, and it was the worst experience of my life. I have no family here, and his entire family was there from the moment they saw my daughter turn their backs on me. I don't have any friends here either, so it was just my daughter and me. She is a colicky baby, so it was very difficult for me to do everything alone and, on top of that, help with our sons. I decided to do the paternity test because one day his entire family came to our house to celebrate my son's birthday, and no one spoke to me. And they didn't want to include my daughter in the photos that my in-law took of all the grandchildren. So I knew it was stupid to keep waiting for them to come to their senses. Well, the paternity test came back positive, and everyone was shocked, and of course they felt guilty for not believing in me. Everyone apologized, and my husband even cried when he held our daughter in his arms for the first time. I know that his apologies were genuine, and that's why I forgave him, but I don't know if I can forgive his family. They treated me really badly and said horrible things about me just a few days after giving birth, and I can't forget their insults or violence. My husband knows that I don't want to see his family, nor do I want them near any of our children. And he told his family, so these last 3 months it has been just the 5 of us, but it doesn't feel as good as I expected. My husband is constantly apologizing and crying every time he holds our daughter, and I am getting tired of this situation. I want us to be as happy as we were before, so how can we move on? My husband suggested that we should start couples therapy. How much can therapy help? Relevant comments. What exactly happened with the violence? Why haven't you taken your children back to your family? His sister pulled my hair during a fight. A one-sided fight, by the way, because I never responded to her insults, and his mother also did it on another occasion. I'm planning to go visit my family in a few months, and your husband allowed that violence to continue. I told him what they did, and they had a fight about it. He was never violent with me. He got angry because he didn't know what they did, and when I told him, they ended up in a fight because he didn't like that they intervened in our relationship or that they were violent with me. How old were you when you got together? I was 18. OOP answers some questions. Has he ever mistrusted you for no reason or refused to listen to you before? Is it a common occurrence? No, this was the first time. How old were you when you had your first? 19. Don't return when you go visit your family. I wish I could do that. But that would cause me legal problems because my children were not born in my home country. And if I don't bring them back to their country, I could have problems. Did anything happen in your past that would give him doubts? Yes, when I met him, I was seeing someone else, but it wasn't something serious or exclusive, and I stopped seeing that person to start dating my husband, and he thinks that's considered cheating. Also, he started getting paranoid in the last few months because I started to be good friends with a coworker, and he has green eyes like my daughter, and for some reason my husband thought that I cheated on him with that man. Did he tell you he was uncomfortable with the coworker? Yes, he told me that he didn't like us being friends because he was sure that my coworker liked me, and I told him that he was overreacting and being extremely jealous. And I refused to stop being friends with that man, and I know that helped him think I cheated on him, and I know it was my fault. Update post. I think before the update, I should clarify a few things to put you in context. I know I should have said it in my original post, but I didn't, and that made many people believe so many things that are not true. Before I got pregnant, I met a man at work, and you could say that he's a little too friendly. For example, he liked to buy me and another female coworker coffee every morning, or once in a while he used to leave a flower on our desks, and things like that. That never seemed strange to me because he never tried anything with any of us. He was always just friendly, and he was always talking about his wife, children, and grandchildren and giving us parenting advice. Well, my husband didn't like that I was friends with this man because he said that he was sure that this man liked me because I'm young and that he would soon try something with me. And when he told me that, I told him that I wouldn't stop being friends with him because he was always respectful and I didn't see anything wrong with being friends with a man. And I'm not gonna lie, He got really angry, but after a few days, he forgot about it. But all those doubts resurfaced when our daughter was born, because she had a lot of platinum blonde hair, which none of our other children had. And my husband thought she would look like her brothers. But no, she looked completely different from him and me, and that made him doubt. My coworker is not blonde, but he has the same eye color as our daughter, and he's very pale, just like her. So my husband asked me for a paternity test, and I refused because it was humiliating and because I thought that at least he would educate himself about basic biology. But he didn't. And when I say this, I mean that my great-grandparents look exactly like my daughter, with the same color hair, eyes, and skin, and he always knew that but decided to ignore it to believe that I was cheating on him. And I know that I helped this situation escalate and end badly because I should have accepted the paternity test. And I say that because here it is not easy to do a paternity test without authorization from both parents. And regarding his sister and mother, they never liked me. And for a while we even stopped having contact with his family because I didn't like the way they treated me. But when our second son was born, I felt alone because it was just my husband, his friends, our son, and me. I wanted my children to grow up with a family, so we got back in touch with them. And in fact, they treated me very well until my daughter was born. And when they pulled my hair, my husband wasn't present, and I didn't tell him until a few weeks later, and by then they had a big fight because of that. I swear that he was never violent, nor did he ever endorse anyone being violent with me. Well, the update is that I gave him an ultimatum and told him that I want to go live in my home country and be close to my family, and that if he didn't want that, then the only option would be getting divorced. When I told him that, I also told him that I'm talking to a lawyer to advise me on divorce and joint custody, and I guess that made him realize that I was being serious because he said he would be willing to do that to earn my forgiveness. Another thing I asked him was to cut off contact with his family forever because I don't want our children to suffer what I suffered with them, and he agreed. At the moment, our plan is to travel for Christmas, stay there for a few weeks, and move in the middle of next year. In the meantime, we will go to couples and individual therapy and hope to be able to solve our problems. So far, things are going well, and I hope they continue that way. Edit, I don't understand why there are so many people accusing me of being a terrible wife and not supporting my husband when he told me to stop talking to my coworker. I've supported him since we started dating. I moved to a different country as a teenager, and I left behind my family, friends, and everything I ever knew, all for him. I didn't go to college until last year because he was doing his PhD, and I had to stay home with the kids full time, which is why I could never have a single friend here, because since I arrived here, my only duty was to be a mother and housewife, and that consumed all my time. I got my first job when I was 23, and it was only because the kids were old enough to go to kindergarten. So don't say I don't support him because that's the only thing I've been doing since we started dating. This was the first time I had friends here, even though they were both over 50, and it felt good because there were days where I felt so alone and talking to them at work made me feel good. But for him, that was wrong. And when my daughter was born, I quit my job that I liked so much just so that he would stop feeling insecure, so don't jump to conclusions or say stupid things. Relevant comments. People say OOP downplayed the coworker stuff. Well, maybe I did downplay his behavior, but it's my first job, and since he never behaved inappropriately, I thought it's something a lot of people do when they share an office with others. Also, all our coworkers speak highly of him. No one ever called him creepy or anything like that. I never gave flowers, but during the time I worked there and shared an office with this man and another woman, I used to bake cookies to share with them and things like that. I don't know if it's comparable, but what I mean is that in our office we used to exchange things, whether it was a coffee, a cookie, or a flower. One more response to the people who think she's going too far in cutting them off. His family has rejected my daughter since she was born. They pulled my hair during a one-sided fight when I was holding my daughter. They mistreated me when I was pregnant with my first child. So why should he keep in touch with people who don't respect his wife or his daughter? Thank you for watching the video.